Welcome back to the Have Not Room. I'm Ben, and I'm joined here by Chad and Brian. We are here to talk about the finale of Big Brother Canada 9. We made it through our second subsequent season of Big Brother, we didn't end up getting the winner right on this one, but we got close. As we mentioned, all of our winner picks didn't make the top 6. They did go out 6-5-4, but that's not really important. And we all did peg Ty as a top player in the preseason, so we all had our eye on him and considered picking him. But yeah, we are here to talk about our winner of BBCAN 9, Tychon Carter-Newman. And
yes, congratulations.
Congratulations. He was one jury vote away from playing the second perfect game in Big Brother history. Tara's jury vote was the one thing that got him in the end from playing that on paper perfect game, which I think is not necessarily a super useful.
You know what? The cash is going to clear, or the check's going to clear regardless. So.
No, for sure. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. No, yeah, he gets to still walk away regardless with his $100,000, $10,000 courtesy of Sunlight, $10,000 of grills and grilling accessories courtesy of Weber, and his dream vacation for 2 courtesy of Expedia.
Well, was it you, Ben, who shared the tweet of like someone's like that looks like a man with $10,000 of grill and grill accessories from Weber? It's like Ty like smiling after it. That's so good. Whoever tweeted
the
that.
real prize.
Just so good.
That's an important part of the prize there that does not necessarily need to be left out. I don't know how much grilling you could really. That seems like a lot of money for grilling. I think that's probably more money than I could imagine spending on grills and grilling accessories in my entire life. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see everything that he got from them. Maybe it's like a certain amount of time of free propane refill, so that could be handy, honestly.
Yeah.
But good for him. He played a really solid game coming to the end. I think we all have certain gripes about it, as with most winners. Not everyone can be Cody Calafiore and play a pretty much flawless game from wire to wire, but that doesn't matter. All that matters is that he won, and all of us were this close to picking him, and this close to making our podcast look like the smartest podcast in the entire world. So
he also makes history here. It's not barely there. He's the first African American or African Canadian, I guess, Black House guest to win a North American civilian Big Brother season, because there are other Big Brothers around the world that don't follow the exact North American Big Brother format that the US and Canada uses. And we also have Tamar Braxton, who won Celebrity Big Brother season 2 in the US. And that also was a very racially diverse season, where that final 2 were also 2 black folks, and it was also a lot of racial diversity in the end game as well. So definitely a lot of parallels there.
Wasn't it like the final 5 were like 4 Black House guests and Lindsay Lohan's mom? Pretty wild.
Yes.
I really liked that season. I really liked Tamar. I think honestly one of the funniest house guests we've ever had.
Definitely an underrated Big Brother player, but that's not what we're here to talk about. No. I think we did talk about that season at the time briefly. But yeah, we're here to talk about the end of the Big Brother Canada 9 season. Pretty much, we only really need to cover, I think, the Wednesday episode and then the Thursday eviction at this point. And the Wednesday episode we mostly talked about in our previous podcast in terms of live feed information coverage.
Right.
Was there anything from that episode that really stood out to you?
I think we kind of covered it. I mean, it was interesting to see Brayden pull out the final 3 HOH, but at least part 1. But I think we kind of covered everything, at least on my end.
Yeah, I'll just say, like, since it was Kiefer going out and he was my winner pick, very disappointed to
Yeah.
not see him try to fight in a more strategic manner. It seemed like he like just got to the end and was just like, well, do whatever you want. It's up to you. I'll respect you no matter what. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's nice to say, I guess, but like, come on, Kiefer, you're this close. You
Yeah.
could go for it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think there were like three main things that stood out to me in the Wednesday episode. The first one is that HOH comp, the final four HOH comp, was very close. It was 7 questions, and it came down to that final 7th question. And at that point, because of like process of elimination, if you were like paying attention and internalizing all the previous answers, you could pretty much know that the last answer was going to be Victoria no matter what. And so you saw Ty like hit the buzzer like very quickly and then pause for a second to make sure that he did the process of elimination right before answering. But yeah, like literally, if Kiefer or Tara just like hit the button slightly faster, that could have been a very different comp outcome. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything to say about that. I have a couple other things from that episode to point out. There was not a lot to cover.
No.
So,
No, not too much to say on my end, other than, like I said before, being disappointed in Kiefer. But it's also like one of those things where it's like, all right, I know it's going to happen because I didn't watch it like live and I pay attention to people on Twitter. So it's like, okay, like let's just get this over with.
Yeah, I mean, we also like kind of had a pretty good feeling going in when the feeds cut. But the other thing I noticed is I really liked the Final Four veto comp. It was very like extravagant, multi-stage. It had like memorization stuff. It had like
they definitely made it for last season with the superhero theme, and they're like, "We're fucking using this."
Well, to be fair, the theming this season is basically like we're going to reuse the theme from last season and just kind of make it like a little bit post-apocalyptic-y to make it slightly different. But yeah, I thought it was like kind of escape room style thing. Had multiple stages. I liked how none of them like correctly did the wall part really, and they all had to like fix their mistake when you would think that like the first thing you would do when approaching a wall with like colored numbers on it is like, oh, I should probably memorize these. That would be me, at least. I don't know if that's like if that's a me thing or if that's like a I'm projecting or what.
I think it just says that if we ever do escape room, I'll let you lead.
Yeah.
Oh man, you'd think. I mean, like you said, it's a pretty obvious thing. One time I went to an escape room where it had a similar, not exactly the same, but it had a color coded thing that you're supposed to have like 4 people put their hands on. It was just like, and that's where we failed. And I still to this day maintain that was just a bullshit thing.
Yeah. I think I might have done that escape room.
Yeah. Was it in Boston?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little scuffed.
Temple
We had a
themed.
little scuff with that, and but they didn't. They were kind of nice to us in that one.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Wow. We went with a bunch of. This is something you should not do. This is so off fucking topic, but whatever. This is the last episode of the season. Don't book a room with strangers because stuff just does not get communicated well.
Yeah.
Between the two groups.
When I did that one, I was on a date, and it was the 2 of us, and then an entire bridal party for like a bachelorette party. I didn't know ahead of time.
Oh man.
Did they win? Did you guys win?
I've never lost an escape room. I'm not,
Did the bridal party invite you guys out afterwards?
No, I mean I don't.
To hang? That's pretty bad.
Damn.
Honestly.
Yeah,
They're still locked in the room. The wedding was called off.
Yeah, they never would have gotten.
No, we escaped. We all escaped.
Yeah.
They were very good. They were like they did most of the work. So.
All right, I had a bunch of bros and they were not good,
Yeah.
and also like held on to vital information far too long before sharing it with the rest of the group.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, we're getting quite off topic here, but as far as the show itself, I thought
this is the room part of the have not room.
Yeah. we have to pad out this episode, all right? just as long as the show padded out the finale.
It's okay because I'm gonna add
content.
a half an hour of clips of me not being on the show.
Yeah.
What was Brian doing for those 4
we have to do
episodes?
recap segments of the previous podcasts.
Oh my god.
No, but yeah, I thought that it was fun. It was a well designed comp, I think, on the whole. I thought it was funny that Ty struggled to like find like basic aspects of the escape room and like didn't notice the phone ringing on the desk in front of him. I mean, obviously like the sound wasn't coming from the phone; it was probably coming from like the speakers in the backyard. But like still, where would you normally put phones other than on tables and desks?
A
right?
desk, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me. Someone said, it may have been Andy Heron on Twitter, said that when Zingbot comes, the voice doesn't come from him; it comes from the house. So you just have the guy in a suit just standing there doing the moves. It's very off-putting.
It's so stupid.
It's like the voice of God.
Yeah, Zingbot's the Big Brother God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's more like one of the Greek or Roman gods that like has a lot of skeletons in his closet and like is kind of a whore.
Yep. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we know he has a son, so he's at least fricked one time. We know this canon.
Yeah, no, it's.
And they made them build his bride on BB-13, if I recall correctly.
There's way more storyline like season to season with Zingbot than you could kind of you'd otherwise think, for sure. Yeah. But we're so fucking off topic.
Doing such a good job of being a host. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Let's get another 2 sentences before I completely derail the conversation again.
Yeah.
Alright, we're getting some Big Brother fanfics here with Zingbot screwing Otev, so probably get out of here.
Which iteration of Otev do you think is the sexiest? Yeah.
Oh god.
Let's see. Spent so many. The one with Gilbert Godfrey's voice, obviously.
He did a couple though, like the squirrel one. I think he did, right?
Did he?
Yeah, he did a few.
That's just haunted my dreams.
Oh my
Anyways, back to BBCAN 9. The other thing from that one's the episode that I noticed that we didn't really get on the feeds as much, because I think this was after they were cut, was we saw Tara, after finding out she's about to make the decision of who to evict, decide that the best course of action here would be to consult Ty to ask him what his opinion is. Certainly is going to give a perfectly objective opinion here. Will allow Tara to view, from a neutral party who has no stake at all in her decision, and is really going to kind of set her on the right path. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I hope if I ever play Big Brother, I have competitors at the exact same level of this. I don't know, what should I do? I guess if I were you, and you don't have to do this, but
yeah. I don't know. Not really much else to say. I mean, like we talked about, Kiefer definitely assisted very heavily in getting himself evicted here. But certainly, at least a reasonable proportion of the blame has to go to Tara for making what is very obviously, in my opinion, an incorrect decision evicting Kiefer over Brayden, which will immediately backfire on her on the next round. And yeah, the idea of asking Ty, not from a perspective of like reverse psychology, but from the idea that like he's going to give you some sort of objectivity or like, blessing to evict Kiefer, which is what I think she was going for, which is like she wanted to evict Kiefer and she just wanted to not have all of the blood in her hands, and she was like, okay, well, if Ty also tells me to evict Kiefer, then he has a hand in this as well. Which is just bad all around, in my opinion. pretty much from cover to cover. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Chad?
I mean, we all know Tara got where she is because she's just like the last of the floaters. So her social game was never her strong point. Um, I think her evicting Kiefer was by far her mistake. She probably could have made final two if she votes out Braden there. I think Kiefer probably takes her. I think Ty would probably take her at that point too. So yeah, I think voting out Braden, she locks herself as final two. So she just lost $10,000.
Yeah, I think that in hindsight, maybe the counter argument would be that the jury was higher on Ty's game than it appeared, at the very least to us, and if not us, then also the contestants, with the like ultimate result of the jury vote.
Mm-hmm.
But I do still think that a Ty Tara jury vote would probably been closer than a Ty Braden jury vote. But I don't know.
No, I
It's
agree.
hard to say. It's hard to say.
Yeah, definitely hard to say.
Yeah, she probably pulls a couple votes at least.
Yeah. Probably if she at least gets Tina, maybe Beth is more likely to, you know, uh, vote bitterly rather than begrudgingly give Ty some kind of props. I think there's more of a chance there. I think that Tara can swing at least like 2 to 3, if not 4 votes. But we'll never know because we get to our finale. Part one. There, on the side here, there were a lot of spoilers running around on social media for the finale. Ahead of the airing, all of which turned out to be false, luckily. But there was one in particular that said that Tara was winning. That turned out to be somebody just trolling Tara stands who have been insufferable and completely delusional. So understandable, but it was definitely definitely a roller coaster to watch, having seen those spoilers come up on Twitter. But they were immediately debunked because every spoiler had Ty winning part one of the final HOH, and the actual winner of part one of the final HOH was Braden.
Hey, I mean, he kind of killed it. That was a hard challenge, and the fact that it lasted 4 hours
Yeah.
to go to a draw, I guess isn't that surprising because that was a lot of chips. And I think production obviously knew they were like, this is a really tough challenge. They might not ever complete this, so we got to do the sudden death. So yeah, I mean, good for him. He really came on at the end of the season as a comp beast, you know. So I don't have much else to say other than that, other than just yeah, he was great. It's good for him.
Yep. This was also very similar to the BBCAN 6 Part 1 HOH, so future BBCAN players, look out for this kind of style of Final HOH Part 1, where you're balancing these chip things on a moving platform. That seems to be kind of more of the endurance style comp that BBCAN likes to do in this endgame situation, rather than a pure hang onto a rope or a wall or whatever style endurance.
Unicorn pooping a rainbow or vomiting a rainbow. Can't remember.
Surfboard.
Which.
Yeah.
Yep.
All kinds of crazy shit that the BBUS has historically done. So yeah, definitely impressive. Like you mentioned, Braden really turned it on, won a bunch of comps here in these final few weeks. And then we cut to a part two, which is a combination of the toss across with baseball and remembering facts about the game, the days, it's kind of days style, but with a beanbag thrown. Yeah. Which is again kind of a classic HOH final HOH part two, where it's days but with a physical component as well. And yeah, I saw this and was like, yeah, there's no way Tara is beating science.
Well, it was so
Oh,
close,
yeah.
Ben.
It's only a
No,
half hour.
no,
Half hour
yeah, it was not close. Um,
difference.
yeah, I do think that this was probably not well designed in terms of like balancing the mental component with the physical component here.
Mm,
Um, and I also thought it was pretty difficult to follow from a viewer perspective. Uh,
yeah, because we're
but
not gonna know all those answers.
well, yeah.
And
Even if you know the answers, though, like watching them knock down the things, like it's very hard to see if they knock down the right one, even if you know what the right one is, because it's like happening so fast. And then like there's a lot of cuts of them running up, putting the thing back up, running back, doing all these like kind of jump cuts back and forth. So I personally found it hard to follow.
Yeah.
Didn't really matter because yeah, Tara obviously is going to be worse at throwing up the beanbag than Ty, and
I mean, I had a pretty bad throw.
I
He's
mean,
using just this much motion, no winding up at all. Just
I mean, it doesn't matter your technique if you're accurate, right?
I guess.
I think that Ty didn't know the answer to the first question while Tara did, and I still think that Ty got through that first question faster than Tara because it took Tara so many tries to knock down the correct answer, whereas Ty like got the question wrong like one or two times, but still was like so accurate that he was able to move on faster. That seemed to be kind of the theme of the comp.
Did you guys catch it when they're like, all right, for the time of 11 minutes, Ty, you won. And then Brandon was like, you still did good, Terry. You had 49 minutes. It's
Yeah.
like, Jesus.
Finish the comp.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the timeout on
Yeah.
this?
Ooh. Yeah, and then now, obviously at this point, the part three is essentially going to be like kind of formality, and with Ty and Braden both in part three, I think everyone assumed at this point that both of them would take each other, and Tara is going to end up in third place no matter what. But we do get the final three HOH basic questions comp standard that Ty does end up winning and walking away, leaving him the only second player in North American Big Brother history to never sit on the block, including at the final three. There are other players that had never sat on the block up until the final three, other than Cody in BB22, who was the first to do it successfully. You have people like Danielle Reyes and Jason Guy in E3. You have Derek Levasseur, who only sits on the block in the final three of BB16, and you have Enzo also only sitting in the block in BB22 during the final three. So there's a lot of people, a lot of high caliber players who have made it through an entire season without sitting on the block. Ty also will become the eighth out of 8 Big Brother Canada winners to win the game without receiving a single vote against them to evict, which is an impressive stat for BBCAN.
So what you're saying, Ben, is if you want to win, just get to the end and don't get on the block.
Yeah, just don't get nominated for it.
Pretty
final
simple. Yeah, it's like not a big deal. I don't know.
Yeah.
2 guys in a row did it, so like, what's the problem?
Come on, man. 2 out of 30. That's a 1 in 15, man.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing really left to talk about of any major substance is, like, unless you guys want to talk about, like, the pre-jurors, throwing
I want to
shade.
talk about all the montages.
Yeah, yeah. What was your favorite montage? There were about 17 of them, so you have a lot to choose from.
I like the one where they got to watch them yell at each other. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was a good one, I thought.
Very awkward.
What like
I
a
like-
mood killer too.
Yeah.
Like,
I-
I was just like, this is supposed to be like an exciting episode. Everyone just like
Yeah.
sees each other like going at each other's throats, especially like Tara and Victoria, and they're just like,
Yep.
yeah, all is
Yeah,
forgiven.
that's why it was my favorite one.
Yeah, of course. That's
It's like,
also
remember the
why I
time you
brought
called
it.
her like a bitch? That
Yep.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Or like
It's so
Kiefer
awkward.
being, I think it was part of the same montage where he's like, yeah, I think Julie and Josh are going to come back as captains. And Josh is like, I'm not out of the house yet. Also really good. Just amazing moments. But yeah, please don't do that again, BBCAN, especially when you're cutting your contestants off during their jury speeches. Isn't this all pre-recorded?
Yeah.
Then there's no
It is.
need to have a 1 minute jury speech limit.
No,
You know?
I agree.
Yeah. It
don't
just
know.
felt so unneeded, like all those segments. Like the fun one was cool, like seeing all like the highlights, like them being messy. Like sure, that's like cool because it's supposed to be like we're celebrating the season.
Right.
Yeah.
But like the
Yeah.
fighting one was just so like it's like why are we doing this? Like the vibe killer.
Yeah.
But yeah, like knowing it's pre-recorded too. Why do the hard stop at a minute? Like why bother?
So
I
we
mean-
got to keep the worst part about the BBUS finale
Yeah.
intact.
Yeah.
I felt like it was live because they did such a hard cut and everything felt so rushed.
Mm-hmm.
While also feeling like it was like the longest episode ever. I mean, granted, it kind of was, but still.
I liked Julie trying to get on All Stars.
Oh God.
No, Julie,
Yeah.
we already did that once where we had the first boot on All Stars. It wasn't that great.
I mean, you just said that BBCAN does not learn lessons well from BBUS, though. So
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
if BBCAN 10 ends up being All Stars, they could take a cue from BB22 and have the previous season's first boot on. Definitely, possibility.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the pre-jurors are always fun. Like, just like thinking they had way more impact on the game than they did. It's like, bro, like Josh being like, oh, it caused paranoia and that lasted for months. It's like, yes, but also it's the BB house. It wasn't your paranoia that was lasting for months.
Right.
Yeah. Well, did Arissa ask Austin straight up too? Like, what? A lot of fans online have said that you getting evicted was the best thing to happen to Braden all season. It's like, I mean, true, but fucking brutal.
Ouch.
Very brutal.
Austin, your entire existence on this season is just the fact that you were evicted pre-jury, so your number one ally could end up actually playing the game effectively.
Yeah, and for that, we thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Very awkward.
And Kyle. Anyways, so.
Yeah. you and Austin hooking up? Is that a thing? Or?
Yeah, is that...
We had that as a storyline for half of an episode when you were evicted.
During your eviction episode,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
decided to introduce this little bit of lore. The
Yeah.
last moment.
And then see you later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Oh,
God.
man.
It should have had the fucking sister beater guy or whoever the hell. Come on, instead.
Oh,
Moses.
God.
That guy.
I'm just kidding, but
I still like when I go to edit these episodes. I have like our theme song and other assets that I need for every episode in a folder with still the preseason like thing, and I was like, oh yeah, Ethan, you.
Yeah.
You probably would have smacked Josh across the mouth. Week 2. But anyway,
Oh, yeah, that's all I got for pre-jury.
Yeah.
More than I expected us to talk about it, to be fair.
I'm trying to bring it.
Yeah.
tangents
I guess jury
and-
questioning, that's pretty much the only thing that's left, really, other than just like a retrospective of the season and Ty's game.
Yeah, who was it? Was it you, Chad, in our group chat? You're like, or maybe it was Ben. One of you guys are like, basically every question was like, Ty, please stop lying and saying that you're super loyal. And I was like, Brayden, why give us any reason to win that
Yeah.
you should win. And
One
it's like
reason.
every question.
Yep.
And both of them were like, no, thank you. I will not do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I just don't. I guess this is kind of a refutation of the whole, like, if you play a dirty game, you have to own it in order to win the jury vote. Because Ty played a very dirty game, did not own it at all, and still won. So I think that we could kind of put this to rest. I think the idea that like the difference between a jury voting for you or not voting for you if you play a kind of a sneaky, really disloyal game comes down to whether or not you own your shit. And I think it more so just comes down to like the individual jurors and whether each of them is just willing to put that aside and vote for the person they think played slightly or played better than the other. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that.
I mean, I respect it that even with his lack of good jury votes or jury management or anything that we associate with like good end game play, that they were like, well, the actual moves themselves were the best, so we need to reward him for that.
Yeah.
It definitely makes it an easy season for me to like be like, all right, that was good. That was solid ending. I liked that. Where sometimes, and I know there's plenty of reasons why like players win and don't win, and then we're not shown everything on every show. But like, there are certain times where I'm like, okay, that person won. That doesn't feel satisfying to me, you know. So, hey, I respect them.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky. I think that again, it just comes down to the jury, right? You kind of have to get a feel for if the jury is like what type of gameplay the other players in the game are willing to reward. And I think the whole like you have to own it or if you don't own it, you'll lose. If you do own it, you'll win is like kind of it's not that simple, right? We see like Big Brother 20, Tyler does own his game to as much of an extent as he can. And he loses that jury vote here. We see Ty basically continue to lie and gaslight throughout his final speeches and answers, and he wins 6-1. So
There are no
definitely,
rules, just vibes in Big Brother
yeah,
House.
I definitely would still recommend being upfront on the whole, but it's definitely not like a silver bullet for like fixing any kind of dirty gameplay.
No, I agree. I agree. I think a lot of times the jury has made up their mind going into these anyways, where it's like there's gonna have to be like a huge thing for someone to be like, wait a second, I've been looking at this completely wrong, and now I'm correcting it. Like, I think most of the time they're not even listening too hard to what the players are saying, and they're just like, I've had enough evidence from everything else to make my decision, which is fair and fine. Like, the whole game doesn't come down to who can speak most eloquently about their various game moves. It comes down to how they made people feel throughout the whole game. So I can understand.
Yeah, I think you're right. There is definitely like that, like the human aspect of who do you just like as a person more. I think Ty also benefit from literally having a player who like probably wasn't going to win sitting next to anyone besides like I don't even know, maybe Tara, maybe, but it's just like I don't know. You can either have a bitter jury or you don't, or bitter jurors. And I feel like everyone kind of just was like, well, Ty did a lot more. Never sat in the block, won when he kind of had to. And everyone kind of knew he flipped, but I do wish he owned up to it. I feel like if he did, he's probably still win 6-1 regardless. So, but yeah, I think Benny's right. If you flip on your alliance and it's like dirty, explain why, and like maybe like, you know what, you're probably right. I would have done the same thing if I was in your shoes. And I think, even Beth, who was like, if anyone from the sauce was gonna not vote Ty, I thought it was probably gonna be Beth.
Yeah.
But even she voted for him. So who knows? Who knows the right way to jury manage? It's so individualistic, and like it's hard to even say unless like I'm literally in the house dealing with these people one on one.
Yeah, I do think also, especially in cases where the jurors are indecisive, and this entire cast has been consistently indecisive the entire season, having somebody go into the jury late as like a strong advocate for you, I think can be a big boon. We saw this in BBCAN 6 in the end game with Paris intentionally sending Maddie to the jury at the final five to be her advocate and to like start to like lay the groundwork for her like jury speech and to start like flipping jurors to make them respect her. And here we see like basically the last juror to really get to interact with the jury in any meaningful way, coming in being Kiefer, who the majority of the jury, if not all of them, heavily respect in terms of his ability to play the game. He was like by far the like favorite for the jury, and he's coming in, defending Ty and advocating for him, and advocating for his game, saying that like these are decisions that we made together in respect to flipping on Jed, etc. Rather than what he could have done, which is like take full responsibility for them. But at that point, he's out of the game, so he's doing what I would consider to be the noble thing, and kind of stumping for Ty a little bit here and
laying it out there, being honest.
And the
No, I
jury
agree.
roundtable.
I think that's way better to just kind of be like, no, I mean, as much as I want to take all the credit for everything, I couldn't have done it without Ty. And I mean, it's true. That's all we saw. So
Yeah.
I don't know what else there is to talk about. I mean, I think Ty was a decent winner. I'm glad he won the season. I think it.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
It gave a good ending to the season, which is all you can really ask for with these shows. That you walk away like being like, "Cool, that was good. I'm glad. I'm glad that person won."
Yeah. Well, it's a wild season. Definitely a lot of mistakes constantly being made pretty much every single round by every single player, back to back to back. And I think something that has to be said is that Ty made arguably the fewest mistakes of anybody in the game on the season. He made very decisive game moves in the end game, particularly post jury picking up Braden as an ally, where Braden was a lone wolf after Austin's eviction. Definitely gave him a lot of leverage there. And then also the decision that he made alongside Kiefer to turn on the sauce and vote out Jed and then Beth, after kind of realizing his position within them and that he was likely destined for third place at best, continuing down the path that he was on, and really just kind of making a path for himself rather than for his alliance, which is kind of all you really... That's like what you have to ask for any Big Brother player. It's just like when you realize you're not in a favorable position to just be self-interested and build a better position for yourself.
Mm-hmm. We don't ask you to be good at the game. We ask you to be self-interested, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's all we want.
Yeah. If you try and fail because you're not good at like the, actual, effective, like, gameplay, like you're not effective at actually putting the ideas into practice, that's one thing. But it's way worse for us as an audience to watch people just kind of roll over and die or like accept a losing position. And I definitely think that that's not something you can say for Ty. I think he showed himself to be one of the more self-interested players that you could probably point to in recent Big Brother history.
Yeah, I remember a few weeks ago, probably around when Jed gave up his veto for Beth, somebody did like, this is how Ty's gonna win the game, and it was that like famous Super Mario Party gif where they're doing like the bumper ball challenge and they all just fall off with Luigi not even moving.
Yep.
It's like Luigi wins, and it's like, hey, that's pretty much what happened.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
So, shout out that random person who I saw on Twitter and I did not remember to give proper credit to.
Yeah. I mean, it's this whole season has kind of been like in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, right? And so if everybody else is going consistently out of their way to sabotage their ability to win, just like doing the bare minimum to maintain and advance your social positioning and making like marginally defensible moves in order to position yourself slightly better than you were the previous week. That's really all it takes, right? That's all you need to do.
Oh man.
You don't have to get fancy.
Congratulations, Ty. You did better than everyone, and you had a lot of people who were sabotaging themselves. But that doesn't take anything away from you, because you did it the least. So, yeah. Anything else you want to add? I think we stretched this out a lot.
Yeah. Do we have any? Well, there's a lot of people. We had BBCAN 5 was half All Stars. There's a lot of people speculating next year with BBCAN 10 could be a full All Star season. You want to take like a top 3 guess from this cast on who we might see on an All Star season if that's the case?
Oh, sure. I would say Kiefer, Victoria, and Julie, of course.
Yeah, I think.
No, I would say Jet probably instead of Julie.
Yeah, I'd say probably Keith, Victoria. I want to say Beth, but it makes me think of everyone pointing at her when they said who's the messiest player. I was like, all right, maybe not Beth.
Maybe you should.
I'd say Jed, but I mean, the dude literally quit basically. So I don't know. Jed's a question mark, but I think Victoria and Keith are probably locks for coming back at some point.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And then, of course, Julie.
Yeah, I agree. I think Kiefer and Victoria are the hard one too, and then like a 3 would be someone between Roe, Jed, Ty, probably. If they want winners, I think I would hope that they cast at least 4 or 5 of the winners in a potential All-Star season. And so I think Ty would be a good pick among the winners that are available. I think that Roe has a lot to prove potentially in a second season, and I think the Jed storyline, or there's a redemption storyline there that's like a lot easier to sell than the majority of the rest of this cast. But I definitely think I think Kiefer and Victoria are the like 1A, 1B in terms of who's getting a call for an All-Star season.
Yeah, and I'd rather see like either cast a bunch of the winners or don't cast any winners.
Yeah.
I know it didn't really matter in BB 22. Like Nicole got super far. She wasn't targeted for being a winner. Ian wasn't targeted for being a winner. He was just outside. But I always think it's better to just like not bring back winners, because I think most of the time in these games the winners, if there's like a super minority of winners, they just like cannon fodder. Especially in like a game like Big Brother where it's like you can nominate anybody you want and like you can't really escape.
Just do like a all North American winner season.
That'd be fun. That'd be really fun.
BBUS versus BBCAN winners would be that would be fun. I mean,
that'd be crazy.
The main hurdle for BBUS ever doing a winter season is just the clear lack of female winners, unfortunately.
Right.
There's been 4 female winners in the last 12 seasons of BBUS. So, and I don't think Nicole Franzel's ever playing again.
She had such a positive reception online. Yeah. It was definitely good for her life.
Yeah. I don't think that Maggie Osborne's getting a call. I know that Julie has beef with June Song. So what? You have like Lisa Donahue, Jordan Lloyd, maybe.
Hey, Jordan almost won. Rachel, she'll come back.
Yeah, Rachel. Yeah. So I guess if it is like a 16-person 8v8 season, I do think getting 8 winners, 4 male, 4 female from both is doable.
Okay.
It would require actually, is there 4? There's only 3 BBCAN winners that are female, right? Only 3, right? It's Jillian, Sarah, and Paris. So actually wouldn't work.
Darn.
Make it final 2 then. They'll win the runner-ups. There's got to be more female runner-ups.
But
yeah,
maybe at some point. But yeah, I think All-Stars next season would be fun. I think there's enough players to draw from at this point. I think it's a good time to do it. And yeah, hopefully, if it is the case, it would be better than BB22.
Oh, it's a low bar, but I'm not going to say it will definitely be, because that season will definitely be good. And look where it got us.
Yeah.
But I just want to say I'm going to be really sad to say goodbye to the same 5 commercials I watched over and over on the global website. Pass the dishes.
Skip the dishes. Obviously, you didn't see it because you don't remember the name yet.
John Hamm was in it. It was great. They had another one for an insurance company, maybe, but they talked about the Toronto Raptors. And I was like, I can't imagine someone being this passionate about the Toronto Raptors, to be honest.
How dare you?
Wasn't the one with the duck? Or was that the dishes one?
The one with the duck.
I could be making this up, but I thought I saw a duck.
I don't know. There was a certain point where I just would not pay attention anymore, but they're probably like deeply rooted in my subconscious now.
Oh, for sure.
So it'll be sad to see them go, but at least I didn't use ad block, I guess, because they wouldn't let me on the site. I should say I tried to use ad block. They blocked my ad block. They pulled an Uno reverse card on me.
Yeah. It's no comment. I don't want our podcast to be censored by me giving some hints on here. So reach out to me on Twitter if you have any issues next season. How about that?
Sounds good.
But yeah, it was fun. I also liked learning about the Wendy's Korean barbecue burger. Definitely unique.
Oh.
Yeah, sometimes I see in like these commercials like stuff available in Canada. I was like, why don't we have that?
Yeah.
Some bullshit.
Yeah.
But
it's a real miss.
Yeah.
Real miss.
Yeah. You know what? We got Weber grills though, so.
We do. All summer, every time I cook something on my Weber grill, I'm gonna think of Ty.
Yep.
And his $10,000 of Weber grilling accessories.
And he probably has 10 $1,000 Weber grills at home. So.
Okay, this is great, but I didn't need this. Now I feel like I have to sell this. You've kind of burdened me, if I'm being honest.
I wonder if he like bought Kiefer a grill, because Kiefer fucking loved that grill so much when he was in the house.
He did. I'm surprised Weber didn't give him as part of the fan favorite.
That's true. Yeah,
you won $10,000 in grilling accessories from Weber.
Probably been even more excited than he was. Yeah,
that's true.
We're gonna give you $10,000, but this just fits.
Yeah,
the apron though, it says "Keep it real," so there you
go. You already know he has an apron that says "Keep it real."
Oh yeah,
there's no doubt.
Some fan mailed it to him, or like Chief Keef.
No. It's
I'm thinking it's his. Like he has the shirt. He probably has a bathrobe. Probably has. He's just all out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, I think
we've spent. We've done the finale proud by spending, I think, the majority of this podcast talking about random, completely impertinent bullshit. So.
Yeah, that was our goal this whole time. We're not bad hosts. We're very great.
We stretch out
producers.
We're doing performance art here.
That's just my life. Just a string of performance art pieces.
All right, let's. I guess let's wrap this up. Chad, do you have any final thoughts about the season?
As my first Big Brother Canada season, it was really good. I can tell that Big Brother Canada, it feels like it's a bigger deal to the people of Canada than Big Brother US is to the people of the US. just by production quality alone, it feels so much more like funded, if you will. I don't know. I could be wrong.
The producers
But,
give a shit, I think is what you're trying to
yeah.
say.
Well, yeah,
Unlike in our version.
I'm like, damn, this feels
Yeah.
epic. And then it's just like the same shit. But no, I had a good time. It was fun. It's always fun talking to you guys about it. But
Absolutely.
yeah, let's wrap this up so I can go grill on my Traeger grill instead of my Weber grill.
No.
Start a grill war.
Yeah, for that, in that vein, I did see on Twitter that Kiefer got a shout out in the Canadian Parliament in the House of Commons by the MP that represents Haida Gwaii, apparently. I believe that's who it was. And talking about like Kiefer representing Haida Gwaii and the like indigenous population there. So
That's pretty cool.
Definitely not something that I think you would see happen with regards to the U.S. version. As an example of kind of it being bigger in Canada and more, respectable maybe.
Yeah, right. No, that's awesome. That's really. I didn't know where I was even thinking about that, so I was like, "What the hell? Where's this going?"
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really cool. Actually, I think he did a great job representing his community this season. Yeah, far from me. This is a good season. I'm glad we finished it. I'm sorry I had to be gone for the middle of range of episodes, but you guys held it down. Did a super good job. So, I hope people like it. We'll be back with BB23 probably in a month and a half.
Oh God.
Looking at the calendar, that's probably happening. I saw Julie T's doing photo shoots today on Twitter, so I can only assume something from Big Brother 23 is going to come out soon. Yeah, and we'll be here to cover it. Anything else that I wanted to say? No. I guess whenever I'm in Canada, I'll be sure to skip the dishes, no matter where I am. I don't really know what that app is yet, but I hope John Hamm's involved.
He hand delivers your food, yeah.
That would be the dream. The dream. John Hamm with your ham. Oh, I did not. I didn't order this.
And what are you gonna cook it on?
I had a roast beef sandwich, and it was like, oh, and then it's like, oh, but I'm not gonna rate you bad. I'm not a monster. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Just make sure you use your Weber when you grill that ham.
Just throw an entire ham on the grill.
Remember that thing we said about stretching out pigs?
Ben, what do you have to say before we collectively lose our minds?
Yeah, it's a wonderful season. Wonderful hot mess, start to finish, top to bottom. Didn't really slow down, other than after the fake double. I think the season kind of lost a little bit of steam, but it stuck the landing.
Yeah, that was so close to the end, we could kind of forgive it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Ben, where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Ben Sharon, on social media at Ben Sharon, mostly Twitter.
Cool. Chad, same thing. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at ChadleyJP and on Twitter at ChadPerry25, right below.
Awesome. Follow them there. You can follow me on Twitter at TheFakeBMar, that's BMARR. The main channel is youtube.com/workingateverything. This channel is Better Radio. We're inching ever closer, thanks to Terralish and Savannah Drama, to 100 subscribers on YouTube. So hopefully we'll get that custom URL. It can be youtube.com/betterradio. You can follow the channel on Twitter at WGEverything, on Instagram at WorkingEverything, on Twitch at twitch.tv/WorkingEverything, where you can see Ben stream currently among us. And anything I'm forgetting? I don't think so. I think that's it. Thank you so much for listening, watching, leaving ratings and subscriptions. We really do appreciate it, because there's a lot of work. I know we handle it so well and we're so professional at all times, but a lot of effort and work goes into it, and we greatly appreciate all of you who check it out. So until next time, thank you so much for listening.